Welcome back, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Um, all right, guys. So for today, as soon as I sat down, called in my guides and ancestors and the divine to figure out what we're going to talk about today, I got this feeling of we're talking about love. Another love reading. Okay. There's someone that is perhaps at a distance from you that you have a very um, I want to say a very intense connection with. Um, Someone that you bonded with, connected with, a true soul connection here. Um, and I think that there's a big possibility that there is no longer communication, or that person is no longer in your life, or you're no longer in theirs, or vice versa. Um, and there's this desire to be closer. And I think distance is, again, I believe that distance is a big deal here, is a big part of the reason for which this connection in itself couldn't come together. There's a desire for closeness, a desire for intimacy. Um, and I strongly feel like in this connection there was a mirrored energy, right? Simply because I'll show you this here. If you can see, this is one person and there's mirrors around her. So this is a mirrored connection, right? So um, in this connection, you may have felt like this person knew you without even you having to tell them who you were, and vice versa. And I think that the connection grew despite distance, perhaps despite differences. It's almost like what you lacked, they had surplus in, and what they lacked, you had abundance of. I think that you guys really mirrored each other, you really triggered each other, um, activated one another, created this desire to be closer, to come together as one. So to me, this is definitely a divine counterpart energy, because I also got this card here, this halo. It says a halo of loyalty surrounds your world together, right? And I think that when I think of halo, I think of saints. I think of um, in those ancient paintings where they would show these characters and figures with halos around their head, and usually that depicted divine favor, right? Or saintlyhood, or someone that carries angelic energy in some way, right? So what I feel is that this is definitely a divine counterpart. And I believe that in meeting each other, you guys were put onto your spiritual paths. Whether that's something that you both acknowledge now or not, I'm not sure. We'll get more into that with the cards. But I feel like there's this automatic knowing that came about when you both encountered one another, that felt like, oh my God, I'm home. I found my person. And I think very little was said even. You know what I mean? It feels like this was just almost like a innate feeling like, oh my God, I know you from somewhere. Where do I know you from? Why does it feel like this? And I think that may have been an automatic recognition from the moment you guys came into each other's worlds, right? It's almost like you guys started just vibing, right? Like your best friend. um, I also got the energy of that there might be an age difference. Okay, simply because also if you look at this card, sorry, this penguin is a little smaller than the other. So I know that that's height difference, but to me it feels more like there may be a difference here, a real difference. Age, uh, age is the main thing that came to mind, but it could be cultural difference. There's differences between you guys, but it's almost like although there's so much difference, it's like you've never met someone that feels so kin to you, right? And I say that because I also have the fourth house card here, which is connected to Cancer, um, which is connected to the home, which is connected to the mother, right? So I believe that in your connection there was also mother wounds present, right? And I think that in meeting one another, you felt this understanding, this connection of, unconditional love, the way a mother would love or a parent would love, right? A sense of being home, right? And here, again, long distance. This is another reason I was saying the long distance is a factor here. A strong emotional commitment to another who is far away and often beyond physical access most of the time, right? So I feel this is someone that you guys are not talking or very little bit of that, and there's a desire to cut the distance, right? To become closer, to bring these things into harmony. And I think that's probably been the biggest hurdle here, right? Is closing the gap. So I believe that we'll get into it, but I believe that there may have been circumstances that created this rift from one another. It could just simply be because the distance was too great, and perhaps there was no foreseeable solution to that. The way things are, what have you. We'll get into it. All right. But I definitely feel like this person and you have a very strong connection. When I was doing pre-shuffle, I got the card that said clinging, watching, obsessing, holding on. So I genuinely feel that you both are holding on to this connection despite the silence, despite the limited contact, despite you guys have probably never even held hands, you know what I'm saying, or looked at each other in each other's eyes in person. But I strongly feel like it's something you can't shake. It's one of those things that it's almost like no matter what you do, how much you question it, there's no real way to define this connection between y'all. Y'all just feel it. And it's almost like no matter how many times you've tried to shake it off, it just doesn't go, okay? So let me go on from there. All right, Spirit. What can you tell me about this, please? What can you tell me about who my collective is connecting to, this counterpart, please? Yeah, definitely spiritual connection, as I said, with the Hierophant. I also feel like meeting one another put each other on your spiritual path. Excuse me, confirmation. It put you guys on your spiritual path, right? It gave you a sense of purpose, a sense of wanting to connect beyond just the physical. I think that telepathy was a thing here. A desire to come together and have a family, to be married, to come together in general. I strongly feel like that was the goal, right? And somehow it fell apart here. How is this other person, this counterpart, viewing my collective at this time, please, with infatuation and intimacy here? They're watching. So, okay, definitely distance, because if they feel like they gotta be on this stalking, watching, clinging energy, they are definitely at a distance from you, okay? Or at least they're not in your daily life, okay? And they're watching, and they're wanting to be closer, and they're wanting to know what you're doing, who you're doing it with, why. What else, Spirit? Yeah, the moon. I mean, this moon I attributed to subconscious energy, right? To subconscious fears, things that are not truly seen, right? So there's a lot of confusion in this energy. There's a lot of, how the moon controls the waves, like, just by nature it does so, right? I almost feel like this connection is on a subconscious level so strong. It's almost like you can't shake it. And again, the moon is connected to Cancer, and I said I had the fourth house, right? Yeah, the way you affected this person is almost like, yeah, it's definitely giving me they had mother wounds here, okay? It was almost like the mothering, the nurturing they never received. So because the moon is also fear, and there's also truth being revealed, or hidden aspects or what have you. I think that you revealed to this person what they had been missing for a very long time, and I believe that brought up a lot of subconscious fears and anxieties, and uh, things that had to be looked at, shadow stuff, pain, right? I think this person learned a lot through you, through your words, through your caring, right? You brought a lot of peace to this person. Perhaps before you, this person never believed that they could have a connection in the way that they have this connection here with you, right? All right, Spirit. How do they feel at this time in regards to the collective, please? Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia here, a lot of looking back. There's a bittersweetness here. Um, and again, the six of cups can also talk about childhood wounds. Okay, so I do believe that, again, I'm just looking at my deck here. You see these two are young energies, so there's definitely an age difference here. Um, could be a small one or a big one. Take it how it resonates. But I definitely feel like you've helped this person grow quite a bit. You taught them something, right? Because the Hierophant is also a teacher, a spiritual teacher. Um, this person looks back at on your connection fondly. The someone that allowed them to be themselves, right? You didn't expect them to put on a mask. Although I do believe that with this moon here and the fears, this person may have worn a mask a lot, to not show vulnerability or what have you, but deeply inside, I feel like you did a lot of healing here, a lot of healing work. You gave them confidence again. Okay. What else here, Spirit? And I think they're reflecting back on that, on the journey that they've the growth journey that they've sort of had since they met you. Yeah, and they gave me the King of Swords. So this person came off almost like you could never read them, unreadable, right? With the moon. And it gave me the High Priestess. So this is your energy. I'm pretty sure this is your energy, male or female. High Priestess. I believe that you're moving in silence with the moon and the High Priestess. And this person sincerely misses you. They can't read you. They feel this bond. They're probably telepathically communicating with you often. And they don't truly understand it yet. But again, remember the halo card. This says a halo of loyalty surrounds your world together, meaning that despite the distance, despite everything, you guys still have this loyalty to one another, this bond that can't be shaken. It's almost like no matter who they meet, when they see these other people interact, maybe even link up, in a relationship, situationship, it always goes back to you. Okay. Yeah, another 6. You brought a lot of balance to this person, but I think that they weren't ready for everything that you were here to give. They weren't ready to meet you there, to reciprocate you in that way. I feel like you saw them as they were. You saw their shortcomings, right? Remember the mirror? You saw their shortcomings. You saw, in the ways that they could better themselves and grow, and you were trying to pour into them so that they could get the confidence to meet you where you were. But I think that this person dragged their feet quite a bit here, had a lot more to learn, a lot more to grow, before they could completely reciprocate you and balance what it is that you were giving. Okay. With this High Priestess energy, definitely, I think that you knew from the very beginning that this was someone special, and I believe you kept it to yourself, what this was, right? I believe that you knew that this was a spiritual connection, and I think that you may have alluded to that. I don't think you straight out, flat out told this person. And I also feel like this person feels like they owe you in some way. Okay, anything else you're saying? Now the intimacy card, which says closeness, sexuality, seclusion. I think that they feel like taken out of your light, right? Like they're going through a dark night, I believe. I think that because of this separation, this distance, it's made them have to go within. So I think they're starting to address a little bit of this wounding, a little bit of this painfulness that they went through, these wounding traumas, and they're trying to make sense of it. Like, why are you the person that connected with them in this way, right? Someone so far away. See, again, distance. Someone so far away. I feel like this person really wants you to be near, or they want to figure out a way to create a solution to the gap. The distance is a big deal here, but the love has not diminished despite distance, silence, time. Stronger than ever, probably. And I see that this is the energy that you both are in right now. This is giving me more your energy. You're more in this focused, I'm working on myself, working on my endeavors, creating stability for myself, releasing codependent issues, etc., right? And there's a little bird here, the hawk. No, I'm sorry, this is the falcon. So I believe this is about focus, rising above, getting that bird's eye view, planning, right? But this person wants to come forward. Like I said, they're probably manifesting coming forward, manifesting the strength to come forward or create a solution to close this gap here. It's been a lot of time to think about it. Okay, what else, Spirit? What is the advice in regards to this connection? Please. There's something hidden here. The moon, the high priestess, there's something definitely hidden. I think this person probably did some very funny shit in trying to shape this connection, right? Remember, there's immaturity here. There's wounding here. There's almost this desire to shake off this energy because it is very intense. I can tell you that with the Hierophant here and the moon. This person didn't have what it took necessarily to pour into this connection the way that they could have, okay? And I think that maybe they brought in third parties, etc. So advice is also be strategic with this person. I wouldn't reveal too much about what's going on in your life, and I don't necessarily feel like this is someone that you can 100% trust at this time. So knowing that this is someone that you really care about and that there's definitely a real connection with, there's still a lot of things that are hidden. And usually with the moon, that does mean that it will come to the light. However, who knows how long that could take, right? With this Three of Wands, there's definitely things coming forward, right, from this. Right? There's definitely your ships coming in. So this could be the truth. This could be, other things that with the Nine of Pentacles, other things that you've been working on are coming forward that then would almost create a situation for this person to want to react, right? To counteract, to come forward and sort of start mending before you decide, you know what, this is too much crap, too much hidden things. Let me move forward, right? Into calmer, happier waters, right? More stable waters. I still feel like this person's a little bit immature. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, King of Pentacles. Yeah, I think that this is someone that a lot of focus on the 3D, a lot of focus on material things, right? They feel like they don't have enough. I feel like this person doesn't feel good enough for you, although there's so much energy here that says that this is probably your person, right? This is probably the person that you were supposed to be with, but this person doesn't see themselves as stable enough, powerful enough. There's a lack here, right? Again, wounding is a big thing in this reading. Okay, what's the likely outcome, please, Spirit, for this connection? I mean, I feel like there will be a point that you guys will reach calmer waters, right? But I think that it's still in the midst of all this crazy shit with the Six of Swords. Yeah, look at her face. She's barely out of the water, just a little bit able to breathe, you know. Yeah, this was probably a lot of pain in this connection. But this person wants to work it out. But because this is Nine Pentacles, Three Pentacles, this gives me the Hangman energy. This is going to be something that the universe is sort of putting on reserve, on hold for now. There's more growth that has to happen here before they give the green light to yes, this is okay, you know, to move forward. All right, Spirit. Anything else here in regards to this connection? Yeah. Here you go. You see the scale. Balance. Find the balance between giving and receiving. Yeah, this person's... I strongly feel like this person's not ready. Not even ready to communicate with you in a way that will be completely honest, balanced, completely from the heart and vulnerable without ego being here, right? Because King of Pentacles can be very egotistical. And King of Swords, this can be... Not that they're necessarily cold, but they're more straight to the you know, to the meat of things, you know, like they go straight to things. They don't really want to talk too much about feelings. They want to just, what can we do, how can we do it, move forward, like planning, you know. I think that there's a need for this person, your significant other, whether male or female. I believe it's a divine masculine, for them to really create balance between mind and heart. And I think right now there's a lot of confusion with the moon, Seven of Swords, the High Priestess, right? I feel like there's still a lot in the mist here that can create confusion and imbalance in this connection if we were to move forward with this now. Okay. Anything else, please, sir? Is this person taking any action towards the collective? Yeah, there's a... Okay, that says healing heart. There's some healing that has to occur here before this can come together. Healing of the heart begins with forgiveness, right? I think things will be rebalanced at some point, because I'm seeing two hearts here. I think that there will be a point that you guys will be able to have this really good heart to heart. And I almost feel like with this vow card, it says vows are the bridge between hearts, right? I just said two hearts. I feel like your ships will come together, right? Right now you guys are two passing ships, right, on the sea, but I feel like there's going to be a point that you guys will be able to be lined up once again and have this heart to heart. And I almost feel like that is what they're hoping. They're hoping that they will get to a point where they can return to this and pour into this in the way that you deserve. But I think that before that happens, this person has to have some sort of growth, right? And I think that this is more of a spiritual growth, with the Hierophant being one of the first tarot cards that came out. This person has to be unafraid to, you know, remove the mask and be who they are with you, even though you see them as they are already, right? This is about insecurity, not feeling good enough. And I think that this person sees you, High Priestess energy, as wise, strong, articulate, right? Knowledgeable, powerful. And I think that they see themselves as below you in some way. So what they did is that they went to easier things, easier people, whether that was, you know, people that didn't challenge them to continue growing. And I think that it may have been a while since you guys have been in this connection, and they've explored, and nothing sort of makes them feel in that same way, like they really want to become a better person. So I feel like this person's circling back to your energy, really realizing that when they had you, they were home, right? You were a reason for this person to feel strong, to feel secure, to feel like there was something worth living for. So I strongly feel like this person will turn around and revisit this with you, but it's almost like you have to be in that Nine of Pentacles energy, which is the pre-Empress energy. And I feel like you have to just focus on your own things, on your own stability, on your own growth, learning to be by yourself, without needing to depend on another, right? This is also about your own wounding, right? Perhaps you have your own anxious avoidant issues, right? I get the energy of this person being avoidant, and you're probably an anxious avoidant energy. So when people run or they disappear, you want to chase and ask what's wrong, what's going on. You want to fix. You're the fixer, and I think you're working on yourself now to sort of release those codependent energies from your heart, from your mind, from your soul. So you're really getting deep into the gutters of shadow work here, and trying to comprehend yourself, understand yourself, and why you are the way you are. Again, I do feel like this person will come around. This may be a journey for y'all, right? Because I did get the energy of this is a mirrored connection, right? Anything else, your spirit, so we can close this out? Yeah, harmony, peace, balance, friendship. Yeah, I mean, there's a big, again, these are, if you look at it, there's alchemizing happening here, right? Things have to reach a balance point. This is the second card with balance on it. Okay. It's gonna take a little bit. I think that this is still a process. This is a process. It may take a bit before you guys really are able to get over this hump together, but I think that is the goal for both of you, with vows being here. Whether that's the priority or not, but that is something that is in the back of both of your minds. Like, you know what, this is not something that I'm abandoning fully. I want to come back to this at some point, right? And hopefully there'll be an opportunity to do so. Again, there's a lot of hidden shit, and I think that you intuitively know that this has to do with someone protecting their ego, right? Being stubborn, fighting something that shouldn't be fought against, right? I think that the divine brought you together for a reason. Whether this ends up being a long-term connection or not, this is someone that's supposed to be interacting with you and being in your life in some way, right? To heal together, to learn from, etc., right? Because look, awakening, epiphany. This person knows you've woken them up in some way, and you've woken up from this. As I say that, spiritual connection, deep love, soulmates, unity. I think that is the goal. The goal here is to some way, somehow be able to bridge this gap. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. My channel is Nefeli Bata at Higher Self Hive. If you could kindly subscribe and like, I'll be talking to you guys soon. Thank you.